Okay, I'm gonna start over again. Um, these people have been driving by. They're finally stopping. Hopefully they quit and they realize what they're really doing. Um, the police don't know who these people are. They're looking for Steve and Eric for stalking. Okay, the ones that they put their name on a tape before and drug confessions, and I had bruises and I didn't talk to anybody. And I already went over like the surveillance laws. No, and even the police backed me. At the Department of Justice, nobody's allowed in your home but those special protective life cases set up correctly. And then police don't even tape in bedrooms, bathrooms, snooze. They may listen if you need help to come running and protect custody. But they don't even tape in those rooms because you still have a right to privacy and dignity. They have to override or set up their own cameras in my bathroom because I've had people admit to seeing me on the toilet, in the shower. It's horrifying. There's even revenge porn laws. It's sick. The whole thing's sick. And do you realize they probably have kitty porn of all my grandkids and using the bathroom? My daughter-in-law, my sons, and they probably have that on the internet too because they even have my rape and torture. They're perverts. Where these people are running around, it's a domestic terrorism group. For the churches taking up money to hire men to kill you. It's them. It's them. The ones hurting me. They know nothing they have is admissible. The only thing they can do is have these lowlives harass me and make fun of me for them hurting me instead of being afraid of them. They could be. There was a group of girls that were helping out in this in September of last year, and they pulled in September 23rd, 21 at Sheets, and some girl rolled out the window, lifted up her phone, and said, I want you to know we put Amazon cameras, or I put Amazon camera on my door, so if they try something with me, my phone will ding if they try to open my door. Because they can't override your security cameras. They're that good. Like the man walking towards my house disappeared. They know nothing is admissible. And they know they can't enter it. So why would you do it? To cause your hate crime. To further that you can make money off of terrorizing somebody. Selling a police login to a protective life case. Setting your own cameras up in shower heads, air vents. So they can't see you. And know you're there stalking you. And then you sell your hate crime. These people, they could be in their smoke detectors, cracks in the ceiling, air vents. Cameras are as tiny as a button. And where they think it's funny, they could, since it's just a terrorist group doing it, they could be in all these people's homes, watching their children, their grandchildren, their wives, their mothers, and selling them on porn sites and kitty porn sites. And then where they always say, we knew no one cared about it. I was vulnerable alone. They could wait till your children are vulnerable alone and some pervert buying it. Stalk your kid and grab you. They don't understand how dangerous these people are. They think it's funny making fun of their victim. They're not the law. Matter of fact, the law don't know who they are. You know, I got to thinking about it. It makes more sense. Where that Maslin officer, November 24th, 21, I'm in here to watch her. There's a Steve and Eric stalking her. We don't know who they are yet. And it's finally got funny after everything they did to her. Nothing's invisible. Stark County Hunger Task Force, where that one guy was a security guard during the case. He said they always knew the tapes before were them, not me, so they never said a word. Well, investigators showed up by January 3rd of this year. Okay? And said, we're mad that guy knew they did this to her before and didn't say a word, and it's some guy named Eric. Well, they would follow me Friday when I went to have lunch with my friend. And I'm rambling about everything on the way back, the surveillance laws, how da 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 da. And then the Massillon police officer, and then those investigators. This lady pulls in the gas station next to me in Lowell. She rolled down her window and said, "This has actually got funny. It's actually got really funny. If Massillon police don't know who they are, they're looking for them. Nothing's invisible." And they said it was Massillon doing it to you. And they don't know who they are, and they're looking for them, and it's not admissible. This really is funny. See what I mean? The police don't know who they are. They did corrupt a couple of the undercover officers for the retired judge's daughter. But the rest are just the church is taking up money to hire men to kill me. It's a hired terrorist. It's a terrorism group, a domestic terrorism group spawning off hate crimes. I could sit there and read off what domestic terrorism is. It's this. 100% this. And you know what? I was at work today, and my one new house manager, I was talking to her, and her husband had to get put on an ankle bracelet at home. I says, because they can't surveillance him at home. She's like, "I know that. They can only put the ankle bracelet on so he can't leave." Uh-huh. That's all they can do. It's crazy. They have I about died laughing when they said, "Well, they ought to drop the charges against her." There is no charges. For you to have charges actually filed against you, you have to have Miranda rights. You have to speak to an officer. It has to be taken to the prosecutor. The prosecutor has to subpoena you with your attorney or get your attorney appointed one. If you can't afford one, you go in front of the judge. And then the judge and the prosecutor files charges against you. Until that happens, there's no charges. And then you go on to court, found guilty or innocent. Nothing happened but bruises and roofie drinks. I've never talked to anybody. It's like when you realize how stupid you are. They said they had fake paperwork to make it look official, fake court order watching. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as sodium pentothal reports. There's no such thing as getting charges against somebody and nobody's ever been questioned. They're using these people's low IQs. And they think it's funny. And they yelled at Bubba's at noon. We already found where I did call the FBI. Did speak to Vaughn Canton. He did take a statement, needed a witness, and a heavyset officer talked to Dave within a few days. Then I was in legal protective custody. Not before. There's nothing. Like Officer Reinhardt said, there's nothing. Like the Massillon police, it's not a missile. What I got to thinking about, the other police don't know who those people are. Okay? And Ravenna police are bragging, "We're stay out of the gunshot night because Dave's girlfriend's pretty at Walmart with the register. We're leaving you in high danger because the guy running it," and they're saying it's retired Judge Pete. Why would a retired judge be running it? Yeah, he don't even have legal authority. He has no legal anything in Portage County because it's a judge for friends and family in that county. They would have to excuse herself and go to the FBI. The FBI would have had a knock on my door and asked me questions, and Will didn't mention anything. He would have said, "Hey, lady." My one neighbor, Keith, he used to live down the way before he moved somewhere else in town. His wife made up these vicious lies about him and his kids. You know what the police did? They knocked on his door, asked him a couple questions, and went, "Yeah, right." My ex-daughter-in-law, Allison, real piece of work, tried the same thing. Told a judge, of all things, a judge in Worcester. You know what happened? Had a guardian lie to meet my son. You know who got custodial rights? My son did, and she pays some child support because she lied to a judge. It happens all the time. People try to use children to get what they want. But one thing with the protective life case set up correctly, they found everybody lying in 18, all the police know they lied. And since these people sold the login, everybody knows how like the documented liars. It's a documented mean games that pretend. Already found innocent in 18 and 19. This is how stupid it is. The only thing that they have involved themselves where I have bruises I couldn't explain. And hand marks where I thought, what did I do? Squeeze myself and they're bigger than my own fingerprints. Yeah. They said they were abusing me under drugs and making me say stuff under amnesia drugs. That's why I couldn't remember to tell Will about the attempted kidnapping, attempted carjacking. You find him threatening me at Giant Eagle. And he could have arrested that guy. I could only remember the other guy, the Water Shane guy. And I couldn't remember to tell him some guy pretending he was FBI the night before either. I remembered the Water Shane guy. And if he wouldn't have said, I need a witness, I've already spoke to Sarah and she's ready to talk to you. I never had to stay quiet one day. They said they did that as a stunt. They did it on purpose. Then, I mean, that's bitch moves. Have someone pretend they're FBI so Dave could confront me in the truck before I called the agent back. And they drugged me with amnesia drugs so I couldn't remember to tell him. And my head's swimming so bad I can only remember the Water Shane guy. But this whole thing is ridiculous and these people aren't smart enough. They have told them they drugged me and told me to say stuff. People go on to the police and investigators that I was photoshopped and drugged. Even at Bubba's last Thursday at noon, I go to mentors. Some guys that have been following me and I've taped their vehicles are sitting outside. On that porch, they probably have tape and audio. My car's parked and everybody with login. We told those boys we heard a amendment to put a shower scene in the other room. None of this is funny. So it made me look weird, and I wasn't. And they're so altered, it's not funny. If I would have really done something wrong, my kid would have yelled at me, and then a cop would have showed up. Nobody said a word because, like they said, where they're going to put two clips together and put her on a porn. It's not her, it's them. March 2nd to the 3rd, 21, 8:30 to 10:30 at night. The guy, March 24th, 22, two apartment buildings, 130. They sold a login, so everybody heard him. That he framed me. Where they've been telling everybody it's photoshopped and drugged. He actually admitted he helped do it. And then February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory by noon by the clothing aisle. Another kid that looks like the kid I that went to Payment. Said that he personally drugged me. People ran in Save-A-Lot, ran out of their houses. It was horrible. And like my one client, Paul, he's like, Karen, this is crazy. And I'm like, who's crazy? He said, these people, they admit to drugging you and telling you to say stuff before they raped you in stores. They think it's funny when an officer is so dirty that he will be in it with a stalker and another man and rape a woman that's trying to get somebody help. That is horrifying. Criminal getting in mixed in with a terrorism group. See, where Ravenna's like, we're staying out of everything. The other cops are seeing them do the crimes, and I live outside Ravenna. I actually lived in Pomera Township. I don't even think they had jurisdiction. And they're bragging they're staying out of everything. And these other cops don't know who these criminals are that are hurting me. And they're out of their jurisdiction to arrest them. And Ravenna's just, we're staying out of everything. For Dave's girlfriend. They're getting paid to protect me. Well, actually, it should have been Craig's Beach or Lake Milton. Or Milton, please. So I lived in Pomera. I want these people, I wish they realize it's just a domestic. They know they can't enter anything. first time they actually show it to a real officer, a real agent, that we stalked this poor woman in her home, they'll arrest them and they won't look or listen. Oh, that's that altar porn and drugs. Uh-huh. You weren't allowed at home. You're going to jail for stalking. There's no such thing as a court order. And they laugh at you like the cops do. Okay? And there's no such thing as sodium pentothal reports your drug. This poor woman has attempted murder charges. See what I mean? They can't enter anything. But they get spawned off these hate crimes with the crimes of photoshopping me and drugging me up. And they know they can't miss them because they're the people that help steal everything I have. And they're trying to kill me with a chip. And you know what is amazing? I have told the FBI. And you know what, the FBI? Why would you think you have a chip? Well, let's see. March 13, 21, 2:53 p.m. Altman Hospital, they're in there showing fake patches. Telling them that they're here. Okay. They walked around Walmart telling everybody the case was called Karen's Will from the agency. Okay? Well, I thought it was because I called Will of God. I didn't know how to explain it. So I prayed and I gave all my problems to God. And I prayed and laid all my problems at God's feet and prayed God's will over everything. Give my problems to Him. I prayed, I gave my problems to Him. One of my security guards would laugh and say she prayed the FBI over her life. I did. It's help. Okay? I did. And so when they say the case is called Karen's Will from the agency, I thought they were sweet because I call Will of God. And the whole thing of it is, they said he left me at his desk. And that's why everything happened. He didn't bother. He thought it was a stalker. Listed me in informant. Put me in protective custody, thinking the police will just protect her if something happens. It's just a stalker, but in case he shows up. And how helpless. And you know what is amazing? Will had Dave in 10 days for hiring murderers with a simple phone call. He never knew I knew. Dixie and the baby are next. They teach Josh a lesson. He was so angry he could cut his hands off so he couldn't work. And for there's the list. We'll move on to really one that they were hiring more people that could be killed. He had him. He could have arrested him. I called the Canton FBI secretary, yelled out, well, he's got a list. I'm looking at him. He could have went up and arrested him and pulled me out in 10 days. And he left me up there to die. And retired. Thinking it was just a stalker. But he knew he had intent. The Massillon police watched Dixie. I'll tell you what. I emailed the chief of police how they were blaming Massillon. You know what happened today? All the Ravenna undercover police disappeared today. I'm sure Massillon's chief of police called up there and saying, what the hell are you doing blaming us when we don't know who those people are? And the Canton police didn't know. Where the Hunger Task Force guy, they showed up by January 3rd. We're mad that guy knew that, we're mad they knew, that guy knew they did this to her before. And didn't say a word. It's some guy named Eric. Canton's looking for the Eric. Massillon's looking for the Stephen Eric for stalking. And they don't know who they are. And that's why that lady was laughing. They were blaming the Massillon police for doing this. And they don't know who they are. This has got fun. And nothing they have is admissible. It's really funny. And they don't know. They said it was them doing it. This is where it's got funny. Well, I told the Massillon police that, and the Ravenna police disappeared. See, if they pull Altman to hospital March 13th, 21, 2:53 p.m., they come in with fake badges. We're here for Karen as well. The agency checked her. Nurse both look at me, is that when she's here? An old woman gets in my face. The agency wanted the truth out of you. That's why they checked her. Wouldn't it be something if that was Judge Pete's wife? An accessory to have me kidnapped and have my head cut open? She'd go to jail for that one. They tell Dr. Alan and Tina some damn master neurotrope. We already know. Tape an audio. Well, I was talking to the new house manager today. I didn't tell her all those gory details. I just said I did report my ex to the FBI. I said, they actually had people show up and pretend they were FBI badges at Altman Hospital March 13th last year. She's like, and I said they flashed them and they let them in the back and they're in there blaming them for crimes. She's like, how stupid are they? I said, they tape an audio for medical malpractice and they still have it. She's like, I know they would. And what do you mean they let them in the back by just flashing badges? I said they did. I used to work in a bank. People come in and show badges. You get the manager or, the officer to verify that's working security that they're who they are. People scam people all the time. Do you realize those Altman nurses can get fired for letting them in the back? Because people scam, they have fake badges. That was where it's amazing. I just looked at the FBI agents when I actually sat down and told them the ones in Canada. Why would you think you have a check? Clueless. They didn't pull those games. Who left me on his desk? It's like, would somebody pull the damn case? But it makes more sense. Police and agents in Canton don't know who these people were. Ravenna was staying out of it for Judge Pete's daughter Michelle. Sitting back letting these terrorists hurt me. And these people are making fun of me. They don't realize. They're probably already in their home. They're probably in their smoke detectors, shower heads, watching their family. They're probably selling their family on sites. They're perverts. And where the guy said we only let him do it to her because nobody cared about her as vulnerable and alone, they could have their children on kiddie porn sites waiting and predators watching them for when they're alone. They don't realize what kind of hell they're playing with, and they think it's funny. Some African American lady bought the law and she's walking in and said, I listened to Karen today and I called the police and told the police they better do something about this. But it makes more sense. Ravenna we stayed out everything for the girlfriend. And I live up there. And other police are looking for these people that are breaking in. And they don't know who they are. And they all know it's not a missile. And they've got fake FBI badges. They've tried to frame Maslin. They've tried to frame the FBI. And I'll tell you what, I let the chief of police know. You know what happened? All the Ravenna trucks disappeared. I'm sure he could rip them a new one. I don't know, Karen's an informant. What do you mean you're blaming us when we're looking for those talkers? Because I'll tell you what, I got in a wreck. My father died March 15th, 19. I started a new job on Monday. I went down and spent a night at Josh's at Dixie's so that I could sleep because Dave was beating out the walls and doors. I couldn't sleep. and I just need to relax. And a guy bumped into me, young African American officer, had us pulling the old cable. He got on his walkie-talkie, they still have it. It would be March 11th through 15th of 19. Tell Bruce I'll take care of Kira while she's in town. Bruce was over the Darby Gate unit. They would drive around, make sure it's okay, because these villains are breaking and entering me. And they don't know who they are. These men are hurting me. And the other cops are just staying out there. It's not the law. They know they can't enter anything. That's why they spawn these idiots making fun of me for being photoshopped and worked out. These people are mentally ill. They don't realize they probably already have their families taped and on porn sites. There's revenge porn laws. Revenge porn laws. And it's just like on Bubba's on Thursday on the 12th, May 12th of 22 at noon. We found the tape of those boys admitting it was a shower scene. They put it in the other room. We told them none of this is funny. They're screaming at it across the parking lot. People can hear me from my car. And they swallowed it. And that's when I went in sheets and men are in there complaining. We told those boys none of this is funny. We all know they raped her. But I'm telling you what, I just think they only corrupted a couple cops because they're reporting in uniform. It's high speed. Never a word of wrongdoing because there was no wrongdoing to be said. See, but yeah, that's where it becomes ridiculous. I started chuckling when that one time they should drop the charges. You can't have charges against somebody until they have Miranda rights. Subpoenaed to a prosecutor with an attorney or attorney appointed to one, and then stood in front of a judge for the judge to place charges against you. There's no charges. I've never even spoken to. It's ridiculous. It's a fake paperwork to make it look official. Fake order to watch it. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as having charges against somebody who's never been questioned. And there's no such thing as sodium pentothal reports. It's a fake paperwork to make it look official. That's why people in offices don't mention it. It's not. And they can never enter it. And they know that. They're the hired killers. These people are so vile, they cut my head open and put a chip in it. They framed the FBI. FBI had no idea. Our government recognizes as a legal strategy for the truth. Our U.S. government does. And I'll tell you what, unless the local FBI and headquarters don't care that people carry fake FBI badges and get in the back of hospitals. Have they lost their minds? They framed them. They literally let them in the back. Unbelievable. Most nurses could get fired for that. These people aren't smart enough not to be afraid of them. They probably have their family on porn sites. They probably kids on kiddie porn. They're probably watching them. They probably already photoshopped them. They probably already drugged them. Woke up with a little bruise on their leg or arm. Where'd I bump myself? They have a drug confession. They stab you in your sleep. They ever had something to drink and eat, went to the bathroom, got back, sit down, and felt dizzy, and lay down for a minute. It happens all the time. And it's been like 2 hours. Like, wow, what happened? Must have fell asleep and must have been tired. They have drug confessions. And they just have people attack you. Because they can't do anything else but spawn hate crimes. So people think it's okay to hurt you. And instead of being scared, they don't have enough IQ to be afraid. On the screen, it's the men that the church is taking out money to hire men to kill. It's them. They're terrorists. But it makes more sense. The venom we're saying all this for Dave's girlfriend. And the other police are looking for because they could see through the protective light case. People breaking in, hurting me, and more venom won't go home. And so they're looking for those people, and they don't know who they are. And here they were lying they were from Maslin, hurting. And the other ones were lying that they were from the FBI. And then it comes down ridiculous. Why were Maslin hurting? That where it is. I lived in Perry, and then I lived in Pomero Township. When I told Reinhardt that, Officer Reinhardt, you know what he told me? You don't understand. Undercover police in the courthouse are only allowed to work within the city lines. They can't even go out. They don't have jurisdiction outside the city lines. The Ravenna police for the city, and that's it. They only work for the courthouses undercover. They can't leave. They have no authority outside the city lines. I was in Pomero Township. If you Google Pomero Township Police Department, it's Greg's Beach or Milton. They're within 5 miles, 5 to 7 miles. Ravenna's police station was 11.2. We had our own fire department, own schools, own post office. See what I mean? I was 11 miles away. It's between Louisville and Alliance. They didn't even have jurisdiction, and they can't work a case with a retired judge's daughter. They weren't even allowed to work wills because there was a judge's daughter. Because then we went and halfway stayed out the gunshot line because Dave's girlfriend's prettier, and the guy running it dead blameless. And why would a retired judge be running anything? And they have no authority in the United States. For my girlfriend's rich and powerful, and her family owns the police. Told them it's not a communist country. Nobody else. Who's Michelle? Auntie Shell. They say it's Judge Pete's. First they lied and told everybody it was an agent's daughter, and that's why the agency's hurting. I'll tell you what, even the Freemasons believed it. They were so mad at the FBI. And they're flashing those fake badges. They were mad at them. And it wasn't them. It's some of the dirty officers in the courthouse. Who's Michelle? Young blonde girl, Dixie. John's kid. And this is where it's really scary. I was talking about to the new house manager. I said, you know, I found out on Thanksgiving 18, I told her about the little thing where they're jumping out yelling boo. Went to go back upstairs, and they were saying the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa. Grandma needs to get out. And I said, I go down, and they're all in a huddle talking crazy crap. And I said, they're documenting me, Gabe said, pretend. The police even know they're lying. I said, because they wanted the house for the judge's daughter. She said, you know, that's really shitty. Your kids knew your husband was cheating on you. They knew who it was. And the grandkids knew. And nobody bothered to tell you. That's shitty. She said, I'll tell you what, my husband was cheating on me. And you know who told me? His sister. She said, that's really shitty of your kids knowing it and not tell. Yes, when I was ready to die for him. And I said, you know, I did call and report my ex for having people threaten me. I said, I'll tell you what, they showed it up at Altman Hospital with fake badges breaking some crimes that were done against me. And it was the FBI doing it. And flashing fake badges. She's like, how stupid are they? I said, I know they do tape and audio in there for medical malpractice, and they still have it. She's like, I know they would. And I said, you know how stupid the nurses was? They let them in the back. She's like, you're kidding. They could get fired for that. I worked in a bank. Do you know how many scammers? You have to take, somebody shows a badge, you have to have a police officer with uniform verify that they're legit. Or you have to call that FBI improve because people come in and they have fake everything. And that stupid hospital let them in the back and was talking to the doctor and told them about the neurochip and everything. And and I go to the Canton office. Why would you think you're chipped? Big dent in my head. Someone stabbed me in the neck. Skin felt funny. Took 2 years to grow back. Canton officer walked by his phone dinged. You said the FBI chipped me at Altman Hospital. All kind of thing. But I just looked at him like, you're stupid. They didn't even pull Walt's case. Protected like custody. Has it, even Freemasons, like, do you realize with that case they have all those people dead to rights? Hurting her. They don't need her. It's that. Because he did set up a real protective life case. Turned over the police. and the cop did talk to Dave. Said requirements of protective life custody. Have to give a statement. Have to have a witness. And the other person had to be spoken to. It's the only time you can be in your home. Per Department of Justice. Fourth Amendment right to privacy, legal search and seizure. There can't take it. First, they can run around telling people they have it. First time they show it to a cop or an agent, they have to arrest them. And trust me, they already know it's photoshopped. Ed at the Oakland apartment, December 9, 21 at 4 p.m., they told him everything was photoshopped and dropped. It's just a bunch of men doing crimes. The guy at the Hunger Task Force said they always do. That goes back to January 25th, 2019, 8:30, 10:30 at night. I'm crying over my room. The police are acting in the road. One of them showed up and told them they already knew it was innocent before. And they knew somebody else did something wrong before. And then I got the whole list of all the people knowing I was drugged, I was framed, I was photoshopped. They even told Shine in March we could never look or listen to these people's tapes. We don't want their involvement in this. And they told the hairdresser they knew everything was photoshopped. Just like it was on Thursday, May 12th at noon of 22. They were yelling it across the parking lot. They're sitting on the porch. We told those boys, we found the tape of them admitting it was a shower scene. None of this is funny. No, it's not. It's not funny. These people with low IQs, they already know. And they still won't shut their mouths. And they probably already have their families on porn sites. And until these predators go to attack them, they can't enter anything. They probably already have you photoshopped. They probably already have you drugged up. Just had a little bruise you couldn't explain. He didn't feel good the next day. He got the flu. Welcome to my. And then they can't ever enter any of this. So they're just going to wait and attack. And then they'll try to steal everything they have in life and make money off of it on sites. And that's it. And these people laugh at these kind of villains instead of being horrified. They let them do it to her as nobody cared about her. Even the Chip, the white guy with the hair parted on the side, sitting next to her, hey, don't look, my son Joshy. You had a trip, Chipper, you can't do that. Why? She didn't do anything wrong. Her family don't care about her. And then the 12, 21, 18 stabbed in the back of the refrigerator. And then March 13, 21, 2:53 p.m. at Altman Hospital, tape and audio, emergency room, framing that beautiful. And flashing freight badges to get him back. And they let him in. That's how dangerous these people are. And they think it's funny making fun of their victim. It's just a